Good morning, dear. I wish all of you and your families are healthy and fine. Today we will start chapter 17, which talks about algebraic expression. The objectives of this lesson: you will be able at the end of this lesson to simplify an expression, define a variable, coefficient, and constant, and identify and evaluate algebraic expressions. We will see each one of them in. To start, here we have, for example, 3 biscuits or 3 chocolate bars. Using a number means that we are referring specifically to just that number. But here, if I told you that my friend ate a number of chocolate bars yesterday, did I know how many chocolate bars did he eat? In this case, my friend ate an unknown number of chocolate bars. I didn't know how much exactly did he eat. It's a numerical value, but we don't know what number it really is. So, in this case, we can represent this unknown number value by any letter, such as X, A, M, whatever. Any letter can represent this value, the number of chocolate bars that I don't know exactly what it is. So, X represents the unknown number of chocolate bars eaten by my friend yesterday. X is called a variable. The variable represents an. Now, how to simplify an expression? The easiest way is to start by removing the multiplication sign, in which cases between two letters representing numbers. For example, if I have A times B between two letters, I can remove the sign, so I can write it directly AB. M times N, MN, I can write them, and here we know that if I say AB, it's A times B. The second case, the multiplication sign can be removed if it's between a number and a letter. For example, 3 times C, I can write it directly 3C. It still means that I'm multiplying this unknown by 3. Okay, I can remove the multiplication sign between a number and a letter or two letters. For example, if I say Z times 4 or 4 times Z, they are all the same, I can write it directly 4 times Z. Another case, between a number or a letter and a parenthesis, we can also remove the multiplication sign. Here, for example, 7 times A plus 4, I can write it directly 7 and the parenthesis that contains A plus 4. It means that I'm multiplying 7 by the parenthesis. B times C minus 6, I can write it directly B into C minus 6. 4 times 6, since there's parentheses, I can write it directly 4 times 6. Keep in your mind that when I say 1 times A, I can write it 1A, but since every letter or every number multiplied by 1, the result will stay the same, we have to write it only A. Okay? 1 times Z, it's 1Z, since it's multiplied by 1, so we write it directly Z. Okay? In which case, only if we multiply it by. Now, what's the difference between variable, coefficient, and constant? The variable is a symbol usually a letter that represents an unknown value. Example X, Y, A, M. The coefficient is any number multiplied by a variable. For example, 3x, 3 is the coefficient. 5y, 5 is the coefficient. It's the number that is multiplied by the variable. Again, what's variable? It's the unknown. A constant is a value or a number that never changes in an expression. It's a number, 8, 13, 124, etc. Here, for example, if I say 5p plus 4, the variable, the unknown, is p. The coefficient is 5. It's the number that's multiplied by the variable. Since we have plus 4, 4 is the constant. 5p plus 4, here the expression that contains a coefficient, a variable, and a constant is called algebraic expression, which is the title of our lesson. Here, algebraic expression, again, it's a variable plus constant. The variable is the unknown. It can be represented by any letter. To abbreviate it, an algebraic expression is an expression that contains numbers and letters linked by operation. Mathematical operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Example, x minus 7, the variable is x, and the constant is minus 7. 3d plus 4, variable is d, coefficient is 3, and the constant is 4. ab plus 8, a and b are both variables, and b is the constant. Here we have a hint. When I say 3 plus 4, it's not an algebraic expression, it's a numerical expression. Numerical, it contains only numbers. Why it's not an algebraic expression? Since there is no variable in this expression. Okay, we talk about algebraic expression when we have a variable like x, d, a, b, and so on. To evaluate an algebraic expression, we replace the variable by its value, I mean a number, and then we have to find the value of the expression. Let's see what am I talking about. For example, the question is, evaluate or find the value of each expression for the given value of the variable. For example, x plus 5 for x equal 3. To evaluate it, I have to replace x by 3. So it will be 3 plus 5, which is 8. And as a note, a replacement must be between parentheses. Okay, we will see it later when we have a negative sign. In order not to be confused, let's write it inside parentheses and then evaluate. Here, 12 minus d for d equal 8. Let's replace d by 8. So it will be 12 minus 8. So the answer is 4. Now, 4 times a minus 3. As I told you, I can write it directly 4a minus 3. 4a equal 5. So I have to replace a by 5. Keep in your mind that priority rules of operation, parentheses, power, multiplication and division, and addition or subtraction. So I have to start from multiplication. Since I have multiplication and subtraction, multiplication has more priority. So 4 times 5 minus 3, 4 times 5 is 20, minus 3. So 20 minus 3 is 17. That's how we evaluate or find the numerical value of algebraic expression. Now 6y plus 5x minus 3 plus 4 for x equal 2 and y equal 3. Replace y by 3 and replace x by 2 here as they told me in the given. So let's solve it together. Here we have parentheses, addition, subtraction. The priority goes to parentheses. So 6 times 3 is 18. The product of 5 by 2 is 10. And here we have a parenthesis. We have to solve what's inside it. 3 plus 4 is 7. And we have a negative sign. So 18 plus 10. Its answer is 28. And 28 minus 7 is 21. Now, how to express in terms of the integer n? Okay, here it's exercise 3, page 97 on your book. What's the half of n? Half means we are dividing by 2. Half of n is n over 2. The integer which is just after n, just after, it means that we are adding 1. So it will be n plus 1. And the opposite of the integer which is just before n, we say that 9 is just before 10, 26 is just before 27. To find the number that is just before n, I have to say it's n minus 1. Now 1/4 of the triple of n. 1/4, it's 1 over 4 of triple of n, it's 3 times n, since double means times 2, triple means times 3, quadruple means times 4. So here 1/4, 1 over 4 of triple of n, 3n, is how much? It's 3n over 4, since when we are finding or calculating in this way, f means multiplication, 3n, its denominator is 1, so I have to multiply the numerators by each other and the denominators by each other. 1 times 3n is 3n, and 4 times 1 is 4. Now triple of 1/4 of 8n. As we said, triple means times 3, 1/4, it's 1 over 4 of 8n. Of means times. Here we have 3 times 1 over 4. We multiply the numerators by each other. 3 times 1, 3, and the denominator is 4, times 8n. So 3 times 8 is 24, and in the denominator we have 4, and we don't have to forget the n. 24 by 4, we have to simplify, it's 6n. Now, half of the sum of n and 3. I have to find the sum of n and 3, so it's n plus 3. Its half means that we are dividing it by 2, so we have n plus 3 over 2. Now the product of n by 8 increased 5. What's the product of n by 8? It's 8n increased by 5 plus 5. So here it's 8n plus 5. Now, the product of n increased by 8 by 5. What to do here? Product of n increased by 8 by 5. So I have to write n increased by 8. So n plus 8, it must be multiplied by 5. Here the priority is for the parentheses. I have while evaluating to solve what's inside the parentheses and then multiply it by 5. Thank you for your attention.